After being jealous of having multiple failed relationships while I met the LOML within my first. Sister makes snide remarks on my body at the party that was being thrown to celebrate my recovery from a terminal illness, thinking it'll make my husband reconsider his decision, but instead what it really does is make her fiance reconsider choosing her as a partner instead, because he apologized to me on her behalf instead, and she has now waged a war against me and wants me kicked out from the family. My sister Eliza, 27, female, has always been insanely jealous of me, 29, female, right from when we were in high school, and whatever I had, she wanted the exact same thing. Being the older sibling, I thought that this was normal, but then it started getting weird because she went from wanting to dress me and do her makeup and her hair, like me, to going after the same boys, getting clingy with my friend circle, and just trying to copy my entire life in general. Even with her subjects, her choice of college, and all that, she wanted to follow in my footsteps. It would have been cute, and for the longest time she made it try to look cute, but beyond a certain point it was just creepy. And then when we were in high school she said a lot of crap about me to this guy who had asked me out for a prom, and he told me about it. So I got really mad at her and we got into a terrible fight when I got home that day, and I told her that she needed to stop going after everything that I had because she couldn't always have what I had and she couldn't beat me. I told her that she needed to cut out this whole jealous act because it was not cute, and she accused me of being insecure of her and started crying about how unfair everything was for her because she always got pitted against me. Our parents never did that, nor did our relatives, so I don't know what she was talking about. She had just built up some competition in her head, and that's why she constantly acted like that, and I don't think it was anybody else's fault. Anyway, after that big fight, things really changed between us and we stopped talking to one another. So when I went away for college I was glad to put some distance between me and her, and since then we haven't really been on good terms. 3 years ago our mom passed away from a stroke, so the entire family got together, and for the sake of our dad, we decided to put our differences aside. And whenever we would visit home, we would at least try to be civil to each other. So that's how it's been with us. We are not at each other's throats anymore, but we're not exactly friends either, and the tension has always remained. And it came to the surface recently at a party that my husband was hosting for me because I was recovering from a terminal illness. And since I had made a lot of progress in my recovery, he thought that it called for a party. My family was invited, including Eliza, because even though we don't like each other, we still keep up appearances. I guess that was a mistake though, because she made a lot of horrible comments about my body, and I know that she was trying to put me down, but I ignored it entirely. But in spite of that, the situation has still spiraled out of control. Due to my illness I had lost a lot of weight in the past 2 years and I was looking pretty emaciated, and she just kept making snide remarks about how I was looking for no real reason, and she was making everybody around us uncomfortable. I really wanted to say something to her, but I didn't because I knew that acknowledging it would only escalate the whole thing, since she would obviously say that she was just joking and trying to downplay the seriousness of what she was doing. After the party though, her fiance Robert came to me and told me that he was really sorry about her behavior and that he had no idea what had gotten into her. She and Robert had been together for the past 2 years and had been engaged for a month. So far he hadn't really seen this side of hers because we had only met the family a handful of times. But now that he had seen this side, he seemed very disturbed, and I told him that I didn't mind because this was something that I was pretty much used to. She just is like this, and he seemed a bit surprised when I said that. It was just a casual remark that I had made, but it led to a huge fight between them, and right now Robert and Eliza are not talking to each other, and she's blaming me for what I said, claiming that I'm trying to create problems between her and her husband. She's been reaching out to everybody in the family trying to turn them against me, and has even been telling them that the only reason she had even made those comments was as a joke. But I was the one who took it seriously. On top of that, she has also been telling everyone that since I had decided to take it seriously, she might as well say that she's not sorry about the things that she said because she was trying to get my husband to reconsider staying with a stick figure like me, and she was not going to pretend to be sorry about saying that either, since I was clearly trying to create a rift between her and Robert, so too can play this game even though I'm not even playing. I seriously couldn't understand why she was doing all this, especially when things have been peaceful between us for the past couple of years. So I spoke to my dad about it, even though I usually try to keep him out of all this, and he told me that he thinks it's because once again she's jealous of me. He told me that for the past couple of months she had pretty much just been pressuring Robert to propose to her, especially after I got married 5 months back. She couldn't stand the fact that she was falling behind, even though this is not even a race and I'm definitely not even interested in competing with her right now. Regardless of that, she was jealous of the fact that even though I was severely ill at the time, my husband still proposed and chose to get married to me at the time, even though we had a relatively small and private wedding because I couldn't handle anything bigger given my health, even though I was recovering slowly at the time. Apparently she had vented to our father saying that this was all just a stunt for me to show off how lucky I am to the world, and said that the whole thing made her sick to the stomach. She also ranted about how unfair it was that she had to have her heart broken over and over again until she met Robert. And even with him, she had to pressure him to marry her because he was not ready for it yet. Once again she was self-victimizing because she had to go through a long list of heartbreaks before she found Robert, but I really don't understand how that's my fault. I would say that I got lucky because my husband and I have been together since my college days and I was able to find my soulmate early and stick with him. Some people find their soulmates earlier and some people find theirs later. It's not a competition and it's definitely nothing to be upset about. So I really don't understand why she made such a big deal out of it. So much so that she ended up complaining to our father about it. But it's good that she did because at least I was able to figure out why exactly she was behaving so weirdly all of a sudden. After the wedding, I'm guessing that she's been jealous of me because she had to pressure Robert into proposing to her, whereas my husband did it on his own, and she said a bunch of horrible things about me already. She's trying to turn the family against me, so I really think that it's time that I hit back. The only reason that I have been holding out on it is because I really don't want to indulge in the drama given my health. I really don't think that it's the best course of action to take at the moment. I'm recovering, but I'm not at my best. Another reason that I've been holding back is because I know my dad doesn't want to get dragged into the drama either, and if I decide to hit back he will inevitably get involved. My husband thinks that I should do whatever I want without worrying about anything else because things have gotten out of hand right now and I just can't let Eliza get away with everything. But I'm still holding back and I'm kind of in a dilemma at the moment. So Ida for wanting to retaliate at my sister and tell everyone how insecure she really is. Update 1. Thank you everyone for all the positive comments and I feel really grateful for all the support that I've been shown here. I wouldn't like to go into the details of what illness exactly I have, that's a bit personal, so please forgive me for that. But anyway, moving on from that, it's been about 8 days since I posted and 3 days ago, I finally decided to make a post and reach out to people just to talk about Eliza and put her in her place. After reading the comments, talking to my husband and friends and even talking to my dad, I realized that at some point I just have to stand up for myself because I can't just ignore her and pretend that everything is fine. So far I had been doing that because I really didn't want any trouble and I knew that she's a whole drama queen. She's going to go out of her way to stir things up and if I react it's just going to make the situation worse. So I try to be as dignified as possible so far, but now I think it's time that I really hit back and I hit back hard. That's exactly what I did. I made a post on social media telling everyone about the past and the trouble that Eliza and I have always had. A lot of people didn't know about it, only our parents. And this is obviously not something that we advertise, but I thought that it was about time the full truth finally came out and people knew the context of her behavior. Everyone should know that she's not just jealous of me right now. She has always been insecure and has had a victim mindset. So I spoke about the fight. I spoke about whatever my father had told me about her current insecurities and how she's mad that I was able to find my soulmate right after high school. She on the other hand had to have a bunch of heartbreaks and only then was able to find Robert. But even with him things are not going well. I don't even blame him for it because she's literally pressuring him to get married to her and already pressed him into proposing, which is definitely not a sign of a healthy relationship. She's been so focused on competing with me that she has no idea how to live an emotionally healthy life, and that's become troublesome to deal with for everyone around her, not just me. I didn't curse or say anything underhanded about her since that is just not me. I just put all the facts that are true with absolutely no conjecture, unlike whatever she had been saying about me, which was nothing but just a bunch of BS that nobody actually believes in except her. Anyway, even that was pretty scathing for her and has gotten her immensely riled up over the past couple of days. After I made that post I received a lot of comments from family members, family friends, and even her ex-friends and boyfriend that whatever I was saying was absolutely true. The comments section was filled with people who knew her and agreed with me, saying that even though they didn't know about that fight that we had, they had still judged that there was something very weird about the way she behaved when it came to me. Copying your older sister and doing whatever she does is cute when you're little, but wanting to live her life and copy it exactly? That's just creepy. And it was about time that somebody called her out for being as insecure as she is. And even her ex-friends and boyfriend agreed that she would always talk about me for an unhealthy amount of time. The weirdest part was that even though she seemed to hate me so much, it was clear that she couldn't think of anything else but to want to be exactly like me. After reading those comments I got seriously creeped out because I didn't know that this was something that she actually spoke about to other people as well. I mean, it's a different level of obsession altogether and there is definitely something wrong with that. Anyway, in her defense she put up a post a couple of days back saying that she knew that this was going to happen, that everyone was going to believe me over her because at the end of the day I was the golden child of the family, so it's no big surprise that people are choosing me. It's honestly such a lame attempt at justifying herself because even she herself knows that it's not true. I'm not the golden child, and as far as our parents were concerned she was always treated as well as me. Even the rest of our family never treated her inferiorly or made me out to be some sort of standard that she had to achieve. Nobody had ever made us compete against each other. She had decided that for herself, and that is where her insecurity comes from. We honestly don't belong to one of those messed up families, and I know that this is just something that people would think the golden child would say, but I know this for a fact. If that had been the case, at least her old friends and exes wouldn't have agreed with me. They would have been on her side. Anyway, it's a lame excuse and she knows it, but it doesn't matter anymore. I know that everyone's on my side, and the plan that she had been trying to put into action, trying to get everyone to turn against me, has failed miserably. So now she can keep on posting whatever she wants. She can keep telling people what she wants. It just doesn't matter anymore. I have said whatever it is that I had to say. I don't have anything more to add, so this is the first and last post that I've made about her. I'm not going to engage any further from this point on. Update 2. Hi. So it's been 2 weeks since I posted, and since then pretty much everyone in the family has stopped speaking to her. We have already blocked each other, but I know that she constantly kept posting about me, saying mean things about me, my appearance, and even my marriage. But like I said, I've already said whatever I had to say. I'm not interested in engaging with her any further, so I've just been ignoring everything. I've even told everyone who had been sending me screenshots of her posts that I really appreciate the fact that they're trying to keep me in the loop. But I really don't want to know what she's saying about me, because at the end of the day I'm doing better in life than she is, because I'm miserable about somebody else doing better than me. I'm content with what I have, and that's all that matters to me. She can continue obsessing over me, it hardly makes a difference. And things in her life, from what I know, have only gotten worse over the past few weeks. For starters, Robert broke up with her. We didn't speak to each other personally or whatever, but I do follow him on social media, and a couple of days ago I saw a post from him saying that he and Eliza had decided to part ways. I wanted to talk to him about it, but then we're really not that close, and on top of that he had said that he wanted everyone to respect his privacy at this time, so clearly he was not having a good time either. So I just let it go. But I knew that Eliza was pretty serious about him, so I knew that she had to be very upset that they had broken up. I felt kind of bad for her for a couple of minutes when I saw that post, but then I realized that this is all her own doing, and I don't really have to feel bad for something that she brought onto herself, so that was that. Besides, I have my own health to worry about, since in the past couple of weeks things have been very stressful for me, and that's just not good, so I'm trying to get myself back on track emotionally. Not letting these things with her get under my skin anymore, but I wish it was as easy as just turning a switch on and off. Just this morning, my dad called me up and told me that last evening, Eliza had shown up at his house completely sloshed. Even though he was not talking to her right now, he had made it very clear to her that he was not going to be talking to her until she apologized to me for all the comments that she had made and for being so horrible to me. He still opened the door, because being a father is obviously not like he could let her stay outside in that state. It was pretty cold here right now, and even then she wasn't wearing any jackets or coats, and it appeared that she had walked all the way to his house. This is pretty concerning, because first of all she was really drunk, and then it was freezing outside. But anyway, when she got there, instead of ringing the doorbell, she started screaming at him outside his house. And then when he brought her in, she completely broke down into tears and started accusing everyone in the family of ostracizing her for no reason, saying that we were all on my team, that nobody cared about her and nobody loved her. My dad tried to comfort her, but she just pushed him away, saying that she never wanted to talk to him, because even though he was on my team, and it was really unfair, because all she had wanted was for people to appreciate her, but everyone only seemed to like me. She was crying while saying all this, and then after a while she fell asleep on his couch. In the morning when my dad woke up, she was already gone, and he tried to contact her later just to check up on how she was doing, but she didn't respond. Of course, what she did was pretty dangerous. She shouldn't have walked all that way in that inebriated state, and even though I don't like her, I don't want anything bad to happen to her. I don't want anything bad to happen to anyone, regardless of whether I personally like them or not. And even though we don't get along right now, there was a time when we used to, at least on the surface. I know that that time is gone now, but even then things are complicated. The problem is that when she does things like this, I can't help but feel bad for her, even though she has brought it all onto herself, especially this incident that my dad told me about. I don't know what to make of it. I don't really understand why she feels that way, that everyone likes me more than her, because as far as I know, she had the potential to make something herself. It's not like she was unlikable right from the beginning, but it's just that she got so competitive with me that she forgot about everything else, and with me. I just don't want to compete with anyone at all. That alone with her. I just want to be happy. I don't understand why she doesn't get that. I don't understand why she constantly drags me into these stupid petty situations and then tries to play the victim. This situation right now, it's really no different from the fight that we had in high school, except that this is just happening on a larger scale, and everyone knows about it, not just our parents. I just honestly wish she could be normal about these things. Update 3. So it's been a couple of days since my last update, and today I was just about to start working in the morning when all of a sudden I started hearing Eliza screaming outside. I work from home. Everyone knows that. And I live on a relatively quiet street, so I don't want her to embarrass me outside. That's why I went to the door, opened it and told her to quiet down, and whatever it was that she had to say, she could say to me directly without making a huge ruckus that would inconvenience everyone else on the street. And then she told me that, as I might have already figured out by now, Robert had left her. It was all because of me, since I was the one who had instigated him by talking crap about her to him the day that he apologized to me for her behavior. As far as I remember, I hadn't exactly talked about her. I had just said that this is how she is, so I'm used to it, and that's the truth. It's not talking crap about anyone. But anyway, I didn't say anything about it. I just agreed that I was aware that she had been dumped. And then she also told me that we had said a lot of things about each other on social media, which is why the rest of the family had decided to cut her off. At that point, I told her that we hadn't said anything about each other. She had started something and I had just defended myself. If she hadn't been going out of her way to talk about me to other people, then I wouldn't have to make that post. So it's not like we were equally at fault. This was something that she had started, and now she was upset that she was having to face the consequences of it. And I told her that if she was here to blame me or if she wanted to fight with me, then it was really not the right time, because I had to work, and on top of that I had already had to undergo way too much stress in the past few weeks just because of this whole situation that had started because of her. So right now I really just didn't want any trouble, and I wanted her to leave if she was here to pick a fight with me. I was just really tired and I was done with this whole thing. But to my surprise, she actually told me that she was not here to pick a fight with me. She was only here to make amends. I was kind of dumbstruck, so she went on talking and told me that she was just here to say sorry about everything. She told me that she had always hated me just because she felt like she was not being treated the same way, and even now, she still feels the same, and that had made her very insecure about herself. She realized that, but at the end of the day her behavior was only going to hurt herself. It was not going to do anything to me. She was the one who had lost the most out of all this, and it had barely affected me. So she was here to say sorry to me, and even though she knew that I didn't want anything to do with her and she didn't want anything to do with me either, she just wanted to get that off her chest. I didn't say anything to her because I was just very confused, but then she walked away before I had a chance to say anything. Afterwards, I called my husband, then I called my dad and told them both what had just happened, and both of them pretty much had the same response, that at least this was over now, that she wouldn't go out of her way to create trouble for us anymore. So that was a good thing that happened. And now, a couple of hours ago in the evening, my dad called me up and told me that she had shown up at his house too and apologized to him as well, because whatever she had done, it had reflected pretty poorly on the family. With me, she had no interest in maintaining a relationship, but she didn't want to lose my dad. So she apologized to him and he told me that he forgave her, so they were going to try and repair their relationship now, and I'm happy about that. Personally, I don't want to talk to her or have anything to do with her, and I think it's the best that we can do for each other. But I don't want my dad to lose contact with one daughter, especially after he's already lost my mom. Today, even if she didn't mean the apology, at least she did apologize, and that's all that I needed, to be honest. I really don't care if the apology is genuine or not. I just wanted this whole thing to be over, and now it is. So I'm thankful for that for now. Update 4. Hey, a few weeks have passed since my last update, and until now, things have all been very peaceful. My dad has told me that he's trying to rebuild his relationship with Eliza because in the middle, due to our situation, it had been extremely strained. It's not easy. It's taking a lot of hard work and patience on both their parts, but at least they are trying, and that's what matters. In the past few weeks, she has also reached out to everybody else in the family, apologizing to them for her behavior and acknowledged the fact that she was insecure all along. She had just been projecting, and she's getting professional help for all of this. She and I are still not talking to each other, but it's fine. I'm just glad that she's getting the help that she needs, because things have gotten to a point where her insecurity was affecting everyone around her, and it was really bad. A lot of my family members have reached out to me to ask me if it's okay if they forgive her, and of course I've told them that it is completely fine. I hadn't even asked anybody to cut her off in the first place. I had just put out my side of the story. It had been everybody's personal choice to cut her off. So now if they want to start talking to her again, it's totally fine with me as well. Besides, I can tell that she's making an attempt to get better, and I think it would be nice and necessary for her to have a support system in place for her. And who knows? At this rate, maybe someday we will also be able to have a relationship. Maybe not a good one, maybe not the kind of bond that siblings typically have, but at least things will be normal. Right now though, I just hope that she gets better and she can put all of this in her past. In my case, things are going extremely well. My body has been responding really well to the treatment, and like I had said, I was recovering well already. And in the past few months my life has gone back to almost completely normal, but of course I still have to be mindful of everything and take things slow and easy. My husband has been very helpful all along, and I'm really grateful for everything right now.